Let's dive straight in. Today, we're unpacking a feature that literally changes the game for building AI applications, Claude tool use, which you might also know as function calling. If you're looking to graduate from basic chat interfaces to building genuinely autonomous AI agents, this is the architectural pattern you absolutely have to master.
Picture this nightmare scenario as our hook for today. Your chatbot confidently tells an already furious customer your order will arrive next week. But wait, that data is 3 weeks old. The most frustrating part of all this, the fix, that live shipping data, was sitting right there in your system the entire time. Claude just couldn't reach it.
So it begs the question, right? How exactly do we give Claude access to that live fix? You see, the core problem here isn't the AI's intelligence, it's simply a lack of connectivity. Tool use is exactly how we bridge that gap. Think of it as the ultimate bridge connecting natural language reasoning directly to real-world system actions.
And that brings us to the key stat of this explainer. Look at how we used to solve this. The old way meant building a custom orchestration layer, spinning up a separate integration service, and tying up a dedicated backend developer just to hardcode the logic. But the new way? It's literally just a single agentic loop, with sequential tool calls handled entirely by Claude. This is massive, you guys. One single loop managing sequential calls now replaces thousands of lines of custom, messy orchestration. Claude handles the sequencing. You just hand it the functions.
So what's the actual mechanism making this magic happen? It's tool use. Basically, it's a way for Claude to reach outside of a conversation and interact with your real systems using JSON descriptions. Now, keep this in mind. Claude never actually executes anything itself. No, instead, you just write up a JSON schema of your functions, the name, what it does, the inputs it needs, and Claude intelligently decides exactly when to call a tool and what arguments to pass in, all based on the user's prompt.
Let's walk through the essential agentic loop step by step here. First, in step 1, your app sends the user's message alongside your tool definitions. Then, in step 2, Claude actually stops generating text and fires back a structured tool_use request. Now, step 3, pay attention here because this is absolutely crucial. Your app executes the function. Your code always retains 100% control of the actual execution. Then in step 4, your app hands back the tool_result. And finally, step 5, Claude takes that result and continues its response, looping back if it needs to. Let's look at one brilliant example to really cement this. We're talking multi-step orchestration, where a single natural language request triggers 3 distinct, dependent API calls with 0 manual wiring. Imagine a user just types, create a task called fix login bug, assign it to Alice, and notify the team on Slack. Sounds simple, right?
But watch how Claude seamlessly handles the data handoffs behind the scenes. In turn 1, Claude calls the create task tool. Your app does the work and hands back a new task ID, task 42. Now in turn 2, Claude automatically grabs that exact ID, task 42, and feeds it right into the assigned task tool along with Alice's email. Turn 3, it hits the Slack tool to announce task 42 to the team. And finally, Claude serves up an end turn confirmation to the user. Claude managed the state perfectly across every single turn, adapting every call based on what happened just before.
Now, to build efficiently, you really need to know when to pull this pattern out of your toolbox. Definitely use it for fetching live data, for multi-step dependent tasks like the one we just looked at, or when you absolutely need guaranteed structured JSON output. It forces Claude into a strict schema without doing backflips with your prompts. But you also need to know when not to use it. Don't waste tool use on static data that easily fits into your context window. Just use RAG for that. And definitely skip it for tasks that Anthropic's own server tools should be doing, like basic web searches.
This brings us to the key takeaway for today's explainer. If you want this agentic loop running smoothly, you absolutely must avoid these 3 implementation breakers that trip up almost everyone on their first try. Number 1, vague tool descriptions. If your JSON is confusing, Claude is going to guess wrong. Number 2, missing tool-result blocks. Do this, and your app will instantly crash with 400 errors on the very next turn. And number 3, forgetting to set a maximum iteration counter on your loop. Skip that, and you might end up with endless recursive calls. Nail these 3, and you are golden. The real beauty of the agentic loop is that once you've built it, every new tool you define just effortlessly expands what your app can do, and you never have to touch the loop itself again. To truly master this pattern, see 3 fully worked code examples and dive deeper into sidestepping those nasty pitfalls, you've got to check out the Claude Master ebook over at claudemaster.net. So, with this kind of architectural power at your fingertips, what entirely new capabilities are you going to give your AI today?